Hey y'all, welcome to my channel Reviewed, where we talk about all things television and film from today and yesteryear. So I wanted to come on here and do a quick recap of Interview with a Vampire, Season 2, Episode 6. The name of the episode is Like the Light by Which God Made the World Before He Made Light. I really enjoyed this episode. To me, this has been the best episode so far this season. And it basically starts out with Daniel. He's at the sushi bar, restaurant, whatever. And he's there with Rashid, the guy who works for Louis and Amon. So he's asking Rashid, he's like, hey, where did they get those tapes from? And Rashid is just sitting there eating his sushi. He ain't saying nothing. Then he gets up and he tells Daniel that he's going to the bathroom, and he still doesn't give Daniel an answer. So while he's in the bathroom, Malloy shows up, and Daniel is asking Malloy, hey, do I need to get out now? And Malloy is like, that just depends on if you want to finish your book or not. And he was like, you're worried about Amon when you really need to be worried about the other guy. So, it's kind of weird to see Daniel a little paranoid, but he appears to be a little bothered at this point about what's going on. And he want to make sure if he going to make it out alive or not. Um, as he's sitting there talking to Malloy, Rashid walks back up and he's like, it's time for them to go. Also in the episode, we get Santiago. They are rehearsing the play. And oh my God, is it just me or does Santiago sound like Scar from The Lion King? Every time he opens his mouth and says something, I think it was Jeremy Irons. But anyway, he they are practicing a new play. Um, we see Claudia being the cleanup woman, cleaning up or whatnot. We also get a scene with Ahmad, Louis, Daniel, and Rashid. Rashid's making drinks. And for whatever reason, Ahmad asked Rashid, he was like, while you all were out today, did Daniel speak with anyone else or talk to anybody else? And Rashid basically said no, which I was surprised he said that. So anyway, back to where Santiago and the cult, or whatever you want to call them, are practicing the play. While he's there, two of the ladies, that are in the cult with them, they go back to see the banker, and they're talking to the banker. And Santiago does that thing where he goes into people's mind or whatnot, and he starts speaking to the ladies, just with his mind. And so as he's talking to these ladies, the ladies are questioning the banker, asking him when was the last time he heard or spoken to the stat. Um, and so the banker, he's basically giving whatever information he could, and Santiago ends up getting into the banker's mind. And if you look up at the top picture, you can see his eyes are kind of glassed over, and Lestat starts speaking through him. Also, we get a lot of Madeline this episode, the dress lady. So she's in her shop ironing, and these three goons basically come up and they spray paint something on her window. And she takes the iron that she's ironing with and she throws it and breaks the glass. And then, as you see, the guys end up, and the girl end up coming in the store, and they snatch her up and they basically take her to the bedroom trying to assault her. So while they're in the back, this chick up here, she over there talking to the guy who has the shop across the street, and she's calling Madeline crazy or whatnot, and the subtitles are on here because she's speaking in another language. But anyway, so she back there, Madeline is screaming, and she's telling her, you don't need to be screaming, it's not going to help you. But baby, it did, because if you look and you see what happened to old girl, oh yeah, she was the one that ended up screaming. Okay, when I tell you Claudia came up and through there and she told them fools up. You guys, Claudia was not playing the radio with them people. She tore them completely up. So Madeline, she ends up coming out of the room and she sees, Claudia, and Claudia is basically letting her know, you don't have to be afraid of me. Madeline is like, but you're a vampire. It's just like, yeah, she said, but just calm down. It's just like, I'm going to clean up and then I'll explain everything to you later. So here at the bottom, these two pictures are when they're all cleaned up and they're back at Louis and Claudia's home. So while they're there at Louis and Claudia's place, you know, Madeline, she has questions and she asks Claudia, she was like, what does blood taste like? And Claudia was like, well, haven't you bitten your top lip before? And she was like, yeah, but no, no, no. I mean, other people. And, Claudia was trying to answer her questions. And then so she rolls up her sleeve. Madeline rolls up her sleeve and she basically puts her wrist out and asks Claudia to taste her, bite her, or whatnot, but she doesn't. So Louis end up walking in and he tells Claudia, he looking at her like, you done lost your mind, because not only was Madeline there, Madeline was sitting in Louis's coffin reading one of Claudia's diaries, and he was not here for it. So they're discussing, um, what exactly is Madeline doing there. And Claudia, with her young self and her young mind, she's all excited, like, she saw me harm so and so, and she didn't run, she wasn't scared, she wasn't afraid. And you can tell in Louis's head, he's like, she really don't understand what she's doing. Like, you let a human see you basically get out of order with other humans, and now we're just supposed to be okay with her knowing our secret or whatnot. Anyway, so Madeline was like, she really cares about Claudia, and Claudia was like, I just want something for myself. You had Lestat, now you have Amon. I want someone for myself. And Louis was like, so is this romantic? And Claudia was like, no. And the lady Madeline was like, no, not yet. And I was like, what? Like, okay. You see the look on Louis' face. That was the look on my face too. Okay. But anyway, so she asked Louis, she was like, I want her to, be my companion, whatever. And he's like, he basically tells Claudia he does not want to do that because of who turned them, meaning Lestat. And she was like, well, if it was good enough for you, and me, what's the big deal? So he ends up asking Amon to change Madeline. And of course, you look at Amon, he's like, what are you doing? Like, are you serious? And he was like, yeah, Louis, he loves Claudia and he basically wants to make her happy. And he also tells Amon, he was like, can you imagine what our life is going to be like if she has her own companion? He was like, she'll be out of my out of my out of my way, out of our way. And so Ahmad, he considers it. He ends up going to see Madeline and he's talking to her and he's asking her all these questions. He's speaking to her in her language at first, and he was just asking her, how would she survive eternity? And does she really know what she's getting herself into? This and that and the third. And you know, they have a little nice little decent conversation. So we get a flashback to the present. Look at these two. I love them. Oh my God, I love them. But anyway, we get a flashback to the present. And so Daniel was like, so did you turn her? And he was like, no. And he was like, what? And he was like, I've never turned anybody before. Um, and he was like, to Ahmad, he was like, you never turned nobody before. He's like, you was the leader of a Persian cult for such and such years. He was like, yeah, but I never turned anyone. So he didn't turn her. He did not turn her. So we get to back to where they're rehearsing again the play, and Ahmad and Santiago have words. And Santiago basically asks Ahmad, "What the f is wrong with you?" Like he senses that something is going on, and of course it is. And so Santiago basically flies over over Ahmad because he's basically done with the whole situation. We also get another moment where they go back to the present and Daniel is reading all of these looking at all these papers, and while he's looking at them, Louis is letting Daniel know how basically Santiago and his crew was running amok through the country, stealing and all these things like that. So all these little newspaper clippings he has, he's you know looking at them as Louis and Amada are basically telling them how Santiago was basically becoming a problem. We also get where Ahmad and Louis they're talking, and he lets Ahmad know that he is going to turn Madeline for Claudia, and he was like, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah, I just want her to basically be happy." And so here we are. Madeline is basically waiting. She's laying on the table and she's waiting to be turned. Um, Claudia tells her, if at any moment that you feel, uneasy, look at me and I'll be, I'm right here. And so Madeline, she touches Louis' fangs or whatnot, and then he proceeds to bite her. So Claudia, as she's watching this, her hunger starts to kick in, and then she ends up joining Louis and proceeding to turn Madeline. So during Madeline's transformation, we get all these little flashbacks of her life with her as a kid. I guess that was her husband, this guy over here. I guess the people in the coffin were her parents. The young lady in the casket, that was her sister. And then, of course, when their town was basically invaded by the people of the war, and, all those goings on. We get a scene where after everything is done, Ahmad, he goes over to Louis and he was like, how did it go? And Louis was like, it was a good experience. And, you know, they're gone. And he was like, Louis, he told Ahmad that he wanted and that he advised Claudia and Madeline to leave, just to basically start their own journey together or whatnot. And so Ahmad sits down and he's talking to Louis, and Louis looks over and he noticed that he had a suitcase, and he was like, "What's in the suitcase?" And so Ahmad was like, "Some clothes, da 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 da, blah blah blah." And he was like, Ahmad told him, he said, "I didn't want the cult looking for them, looking for you three, and basically causing a problem." So Louis asked him, he was like, "So what are you saying?" And Ahmad said, "They gave me a choice." So basically, it seems like Ahmad is leaving the group. So we also flash forward back to the present, and Louis was like, "Yeah, Armand was leaving the group. Well, at least that's what you told me." And so Armand was like, "No need to be mad." He said, "I know that you know that I erased your memories from San Diego." And so Louis was like, "Yeah, why did you do that?" And Armand said, "Because you asked me to." And Daniel is looking back like, "Yeah, right. I call BS." And he was like, "He's lying. Don't believe him." That's what he's saying to Louis. And my mom was like, "No, I did. He did ask me." And Daniel was like, "Well, what was your reason for erasing mine?" And my mom said, "I didn't have to, because you had enough drugs in your system to forget everything." I was like, "Oh my God." But anyway, yeah, Louis apparently asked Armand to erase his memories from San Diego, and he said he obliged. So we get this scene here with Ahmad and Louis, Claudia, Madeline at this restaurant. It was like they were meeting up there just to kind of catch up with each other and to, just touch bases and see how everyone is doing. So Madeline and Claudia, they are talking to Louis and Amon, letting them know where they've been up to, where they've been, and things of that nature. Actually, it was really a lighthearted moment. It almost looked like a rom-com type movie, because I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, what are we doing here? What are we doing?" But anyway, we get this scene where, because Louis, since Louis is the one that changed Madeline, they are very sensitive to each other's feelings. They can sense each other, basically. And so Madeline says to Louis, she said, "Why don't you tell him how much you love him? How come he doesn't know that?" And of course he's talking about Armand. And Louis was like, "Because I don't want him to get the big head. I don't need him walking around here with a big old swole head, because he knows, how much I love him." And so they laugh it off or whatnot. And then Armand gets up from the table and he, proceeds to walk to the door. And Louis was like, See, he already got the big head. He walking out the door or whatever. So it was a cute little moment. But while they're sitting at the table talking, and Armand is at the door, uh, we see Santiago walking up to Armand. Y'all, I was not ready for this. Do you understand? I was not ready for this. I was not expecting this. Santiago walks in. Armand is sitting, he's just standing there. The whole restaurant, freezes. Everybody freezes except Louis, Claudia, and Madeline. And Armand is just standing at the door. And while he's standing at the door, the folks from the group come in and they put these bags over Claudia and them faces, and they basically take them out of the restaurant. And so we get this billboard of the play that they are now doing. As y'all can see, it says trial. Only one performance. Listen. Oh my gosh. So inside the play, Santiago he's talking to the audience. He's basically letting them know that y'all about to see something that you've never seen before. We're putting these vampires on trial. And of course, the audience is going along with it because they think it's just a play. Honey, they bring out Madeline, Claudia, and Louis with these bags over their head. Baby, they take the bags off. Look at their face. Look how they did Louis' face. I ain't have to do my boy like that. They take them bags off their face, so they are staring in the audience, okay? And Santiago put on his little wig, his little judgment wig, because he's gonna be the judge, of course. And while all of this is going on out, in the play area with the audience and everything, one of the guys from the group, he ends up going downstairs. This little guy over here in the little corner, he ends up going downstairs. And when he gets downstairs, guess who is sitting downstairs? Not Dracula, dear. Not Nosferatu's darling, but Lestat. You guys, it literally took me 5 minutes to pick my mouth up off the floor because I was not expecting this. Do you understand? Lestat was sitting his pretty behind in that chair smoking that cigarette, and the guy was like, Monsieur, blah, blah, blah. And Lestat said, 10. Give me 10 minutes. Like, I'll be on stage in 10 minutes. Y'all, I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, the sneak peek for next week. I'm telling you, I cannot wait for y'all to see the look on their face when Lestat comes out there. Oh my God, I was so excited because I love Lestat. I love Lestat. Y'all, I think it's like 2 more episodes left for this season. I hope we get a season 3. I've never read the book. I've seen the movie a million times, so I just want to know how this is going to end, how this is going to wrap up. I'm so glad Lestat is seemingly back. Oh my gosh, y'all just don't know because I love me some Lestat, but honey, listen, when I tell you Amon, he chose violence. He chose violence. He didn't have to do Louis. He didn't have to do Louis and Madeline and them like that. He did not have to do that to them. I don't understand how they ended up together with him. Basically, he set them up. Y'all, Amon set them up, y'all. He said they told him he had a choice and he chose violence. Do you understand? Listen, I really enjoyed this episode. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh. Anyway, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for listening and watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.